Hi, welcome back to my channel. If you're an entrepreneur, then you're probably used to a bit of overwhelm. You might have started your own side gig or business because you really wanted to get in control of your time, not have a boss telling you what to do. But now it feels like everything is pressing in on you. You've got email invitations to join a free webinar, and you have this course that's starting from someone you like, and on Instagram they're telling you you really have to do reels, and all this pressure and all this stuff coming in. So how do you effectively do time management when there are so many opportunities out there and so many ways that you could be using your time? Not to mention client requests, the people are actually paying you that need you to do work for them. How do you manage it all? Well, we're going to go back to the 90s and we're going to take a tip from the war on drugs, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I think marijuana has won the war on drugs. But we're going to take that slogan, just say no, because it's the single most effective way and easiest way to regain your time. Managing your time doesn't have to be this big complicated thing with 17 calendars and all these structures in place to make sure you're doing the right thing at the right time. It can really just be about some simple boundaries and saying no to the things that don't serve you. Now, while this is rather simple, sometimes it's not easy. So let's look a little bit at how this can really save your calendar and save your time. The reason why this is simple is because I could tell you to turn down every request you get, unsubscribe from every newsletter that comes in, and just say no to everything. Now, you might not have a business very long if you do that, but that would be a simple way to reclaim all of your time. Now, that kind of thinking, that all or nothing thinking, can be really harmful as entrepreneurs because we vacillate between doing all the things and doing none of the things way too quickly. So I'm going to encourage you to apply a bit of nuance to this practice as you start saying no. It takes a little bit more effort, but it actually means you curate the life and business you want and the time that you want to be spending. So look at your inbox. Are there emails in there that you do not care about? You can say no to them. If there's some company or person that's emailing you that you don't want to hear from again, you can unsubscribe. Now, if that person's like a relative, it might be a little bit more difficult, but you can still say no. If somebody emails you a offer or request that you didn't ask for, it's okay to just delete that email. I get those all the time where people are like, hey, you totally want a new website, don't you? No, and I didn't ask you for a quote and I didn't reach out to you, so I'm deleting your request. Imagine if you had to take calls with everybody that ever emailed you. Oh my gosh, you wouldn't do anything else. Now, you might look at your social media and there's all this stuff going on there, all this input that you could take in. Well, give it some thought. Are there people that you never get value from? Are there people who you like their stuff and there's some value in it, but it triggers stuff for you that you really don't need to see in your face all the time? It's okay to unsubscribe, opt out, mute them, block them, whatever you need to do. And keep in mind that this doesn't have to be a pure business transaction. I really dislike having stories pop up where people are just this far away from the camera and talking incessantly because it seems like they have no personal life or friends. I don't need to hear a rundown of your day. Those people I might unfollow if I don't find value in their feed, but if I like their feed and not their stories, I just mute their stories. All of these are just these small ways of saying no and finding nuance in there because you get to be in control of your time and how you manage it and who comes into your world. This also applies to software. I really don't care about LinkedIn and strangers who I barely know sending me a congratulations on a work anniversary that I honestly picked out of nowhere because I couldn't remember the date I started at a company. So I block those notifications because I don't need to see them. I don't really care if somebody retweets me on Twitter or, sends me a DM on Instagram. When I'm ready for those, I will see them, but I don't need them coming in at all times of day. You can even say no and set these boundaries with clients. Keep in mind that if you don't align these boundaries before you start working with them and now you just start saying no to everything, there's going to be some trouble. But if a client decides that they want you to work on a holiday or, stay 3 hours later because this meeting went long, it's okay to say no, I can't do that. And be clear about those boundaries so that both parties can decide what they want to do. Once worked with a contractor who decided their entire schedule was going to change to accommodate more time with their kids, which meant that they were effectively available maybe 5 hours a week. And that just didn't work for the project I was on, so we found another designer. But as long as they were clear about what they could do and said no to everything else, we could make a decision about how we could work together and if that was still a good fit. And instead of just being frustrated every day or annoyed and, kind of mentally distracted by this, get clear, set the boundary, say no, and then people can move on if it's not a good fit. The first way that I started doing this was when people would reach out to me and want to go have coffee or meet on Skype and just pick my brain for an hour, I decided to say no. In part because, I've written about this as well, I wouldn't sell my time for $9 an hour, which is maybe what it costs to get a coffee and a muffin at a coffee shop. And if they're wanting to meet virtually, I'm not even getting the free coffee, right? My time is more valuable than that, and my time has already been directed towards the things that I've decided are most important to me. So saying no to all those very kind requests to buy me a coffee because they think I have really interesting things to say was the first step in just saying no to the things that weren't going to serve me. Doesn't mean I say to no to every request, and I definitely do love a good coffee, but you have to make that decision for yourself. And you could start with the most egregious acts, like, hey, would you come on my podcast for 12 episodes and talk about all the things that you do with paying clients without promoting yourself at all? No. No, those are things I would get paid to teach. Would you be willing to, let's use a personal example, dog sit for me for 3 months while I go to Australia? Stay in my house, pay the bills while I'm gone, and I can't pay you, but you could eat anything in the pantry. No, that doesn't sound like fun at all. Make sure that you are testing this out. One way to do that is to scan through your email inbox, your DMs, any kind of forum where people can reach out to you, and look for requests that you can say no to. Remember that you don't have to actually give a response of no. Sometimes your no is deleting it. I can guarantee that I have a couple messages right now in my kind of blocked folder on Instagram of people representing a company that would love to reach out, No, the answer is no. Now, these aren't hard and fast rules that everyone has to follow. The nuance here is deciding for yourself what you want to say yes to, what is the most highest valuable goodness that you can bring into your life and business, and say no to all the rest. To use a personal example, imagine if you create a dating profile and everybody who ever sent you a like or a message you went out with. And not just once, but as many times as they wanted to go out. If you said yes to everything, to everyone, and everything that everyone wanted, you wouldn't find the highest and the best and the most aligned. So just saying no, while still a good rule for drugs, is also a great way to get control of your time back and to have true time management in your life as an entrepreneur, because this is probably one of the reasons you became an entrepreneur. To control your time, to control your schedule, and to make sure that no boss was telling you what to do. So why would you allow some stranger who wants an hour of your time or something from you to have that control back over your calendar? Try it out this week. Find some requests that you can say no to, and just build up that muscle and that practice of taking back your time. I promise it gets easier every time you do it.